Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, and welcome again to another part. It is part 3 now for the embellishments for my Seafarer album. And now I introduce you to my stamps, and I show you now what I prepared with my paper and my stamps. And here I have a special stamp. I think I bought it in an online shop named Funkelkram, and now I want to have a world stamp in different parts on my paper. I use again VersaFine, and I want to use it because I think it is a detailed stamp and it is a small stamp, and I want to have a very clear result. I like these different stamps because you can see the different continents, and yeah, it is a good stamp for a Seafarer album. I think it is great, and you have little details in your album. Yeah, and now I also use my scraps, and yeah, sometimes it happens that I use scraps and I think they are not big enough and so I'm reading now the sentence and I'm not sure what I can use for my special album, and yeah, now I find a word. I think it is the word world traveler. I'm not sure. I hope so, because I'm doing now a voiceover, and yeah, it is world traveler. Okay. Yeah, I must explain something now because I'm preparing my embellishments I think I made now a video part 6 or 7. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I make all my videos first in German, and when finally I try to translate it in English. And sometimes I really have forgotten what I've done before. Yeah, and I can't remember exactly what I stamped in part 1 or part 2. Yeah, and now I have a problem with my very nice stamp. It is too big for my scraps, and now I must find a piece of paper so I can use it. Yeah, of course I have paper leftovers from my album, and yeah, here I want to use it now and place it and press it down. Yeah, good impression. I think VersaFine is a very good choice for detailed stamps. Yeah, and now I am not sure if I can use something of this set again, but I want to use another stamp set, and I bought it from Stamping Up, and I like maritime scenes and maritime stamps and all things like that, and I bought it. It was used. You can see it because I think the lighthouse is red, and I don't have this kind of ink. Yeah, and now I want to create a little scene on my small paper. I create a little maritime scene with my lighthouse, and yeah, I will finish it now with distress oxides, and I am painting with a scrap and use it as a mask. I'm not painting with it, but I use it as a mask, and the distress oxides I use really the same colors every time, so they fit perfectly in my album. And here's now something I cut straight because I want to use this paper again as a mask, because I want the light in yellow and not in green when I paint my dark blue over the antique linen. I think it would end in a greenish color. The light is on of the lighthouse, and so you can imagine that it is a night scene, and I want the sky much darker, and so I use the darker blue colors. And now I thought I could also paint my lighthouse, and I want to create a little bit of shadow. I have Nuvo aquarelle markers, and I try to paint it and create now a ground for my lighthouse. And again, I use distress oxides. This is antique linen. Sometimes I'm also using this little tool because I think it can absorb more color, and you can transfer it easy on your paper. Yeah, with a scene like this, you have really to think about the colors and how you use it. And I always see something I could make better. Now I have a darker brown, and I think around the lighthouse it is not dark enough, and I'm always painting and try something. Now I have the black color of these aqua markers, and also on the top I put a little bit color. You can see it, what I've done with it. And now I thought it would be a good idea to put a sentence, some words on the top, in the top corner. And now I'm searching for the right stamp. And now I'm reading the words and try to find out what is the right sentence. And finally I take the stamp, it is in German, auf Erfolg die Flut, alles wird gut. And in English I try to translate it. The tide follows the tide, everything will be fine. I don't know if this makes sense. I'm not sure if you use these words really in English. Sometimes it is really funny when you translate things word by word in another language, and when you have really funny results. I hope you can laugh about my English. Yes. No, I thought it would be a good idea to use this distress ink, the white one, what is this? Picket fence? Yes, indeed, it is picket fence. But I wouldn't do it again, I must say, because I really wasn't lucky with this result of my stamping. And perhaps it is really better to use your stamp on an extra sheet, and you try first the stamp, and when you are really sure you have a great image, you can use it on your project. And this is not really beautiful. Yeah, and I think it is good to have also my mistakes and my disasters in my video, because I want to show you the truth. And yes, it happens that also I have problems with my stamping, and the results with the stamp, by the way, is great, but it was not the right ink on the right paper, and now I have to fix my problem. And I like mixed media, of course, and now I will use my brush and use again distress oxides, and now I make the sky darker, and you can't see the stamp anymore. I think it is now not bad, but I want to make it darker again, because I thought I could use something over it, and perhaps I need a better contrast, and so this color is really great for my technique. Yeah, and the contrast is good for an embossing powder, and I use my embossing powder. You can see it on my next part here of my video, and I used a silver shiny embossing powder, and now everything is fixed. Yeah, and here I have now my sheet I covered with an acrylic paint. It is a decor paint by Pentart, and I had also a stamping problem, and I fixed it. Yeah, and here now I have a perfect result of my stamp. It is a stamp from Katzelkraft, and I fussy cut my stamp, and now I want to glue it onto my leftovers of I think I embossed some, no, not embossed, I used my plotter with this paper, and it is a really thick paper, and I want to use it for my tag, and it gives a little bit strength. Although there are holes in the paper, that doesn't matter. I glue it now, my sailing ship, and you can't see things behind. And when I turn it, you can see that where are the holes, and now I have to decide where I cut my paper, but first of all it must dry. Yeah, and this sailing ship, it is a stamp from Nellie Snellen, and I want to glue it on my blue paper. It is also cardstock, but it is not as thick as the other one, but it is good enough for my things I want to do now. I like this special stamp from Nellie Snellen very much. It was my first stamp with a sailing ship, and now I cut off my paper because I want to have straight lines. And here I have my thing I stamped before, and I want to make something to decorate it, and I have still leftovers from my digital prints, and I want to have a blue paper because there is a dark blue inside the digital print, and I think it looks better also with the cords around. I'm very lucky that I have leftovers from my prints, and yeah, you can embellish your stamping very nice with it, and yeah, it is easy to do, and you have now something you can put in your pocket, or you can make a pocket with it. Yeah, and now it is nice and I like it. Now the paper is dry and my sailing shape can be cut to the right size, and I want to have a special corner, and I use my corner punch for it. I have this tool for a few weeks and I like it more and more. You can also use a die and die cutting machine, but this is much faster and you can have every size of your paper as you want. And of course I want to make a pocket with my sailing ship and I have still leftovers from the digital print, and I want to use now these stripes. I know that I'm not in the middle of my table working, and so you can not watch everything I'm doing now. But I really use my scraps and I want to create a pocket with it. It wasn't easy because the stripes are not big enough, but finally it was possible, and yeah, everything was glued together and it works. Yeah, I want to have different things in my album, and I'm searching always for nice embellishments. And yeah, you can find nice things you can create with your stamps, and perhaps you have yeah, some nice papers, leftovers or something like that. And yeah, it is always useful to collect these things and collect it and put it in a box, and when you can take it out and decorate your. As you can see, I have different sizes of punches, but I have not the right size. I can try it again and again, but nothing really works with my stamp. Yeah, I don't want to have so much free space around my stamp, and yeah, I have the possibility to cut it with my scissors and fussy cut it, or I can also use my die cutting machine. But I don't want to show it now because I must finish my video now, and I thank you very much that you spent your time with me and my video. I appreciate that very much, and yeah, I wish you a wonderful day. Happy crafting, and if you like my video, that would be great, and perhaps you want to subscribe, and yeah, then you can follow my next videos.